Hey everybody, I'm going to show you a finished and unfinished version of Tess, which is a resin figure that comes in the first Adventure Tomes, the Greenbough Inn. And over the next several nights, we'll be painting Tess together. And I just wanted to show you some unfinished figures plus some artwork to kind of inspire you and show you what you wanted to see, about the inside of some of the boxes that'll be coming to you in our subscription box. Anyway, I hope you enjoy these and we'll talk to you soon. I am recording this video to show you the miniature, and I'll throw in on this video, I'll throw a photo of what this miniature looked like before. This is the miniature for Tess, who is one of the NPCs in our first adventure for Adventure Tomes. And Tess is a resin model that would come in your subscription box, and it's Tess serving up a drink. I'm gonna hold her a little bit closer so we can get a good visual. Of course, I spray painted her. It wasn't the best day for spray painting today. It's a little moist outside, but I spray painted her black, and she's looking pretty good. I'm gonna get as much detail on this today as possible, but I thought I'd shoot this little tutorial on painting Tess and seeing where we get to. I'm probably only going to record for probably about 30 minutes, 25-30 minutes. I'm a little bit of a faster painter when I want to be, and so I think we'll have some fun not really doing a speed painting, but just kind of breezing through what we're going to do. So anyway, I'm going to put Tess aside, and I will say that I'm going to start with skin, and I'm using Master Paints today for most of it. A couple of other Army Painter stuff, but I just wanted to show you the colors I'm using so that you have a reference for this later if you want to, take a look at it. I'm going to start with this. It's my base coat, this is my mid-tone, and that's my highlight. I'm also going to give her a green dress because the Greenbough Inn, and she's kind of matching her dress. The main body of the dress will be these colors, which I have a dark green as my base and a jade green as my highlight or mid-tone. And I'll probably mix that jade with this off-white to use to brighten that up for that last layer. Same thing, she has a bag on her belt. I will probably use this here, let me switch them like that. This is my base, this is my mid-tone, and then adding a little bit of white to this to be my highlight. She does have a little bit of leather, so I'm going to use this intense brown as my main leather color, and I'm going to use this as a mid-tone, this dark sand, which is kind of a mustardy yellow. I know that sounds weird, but if I mix these two together, that mixture will be my mid-tone, and then of course I'll add the off-white to the brown, to get the highlight there. And then of course her hair is I'm going to make her a red head, and I'm going to use this as my base, this is my mid, and this is as my highlight. And this is like a blonde highlight. And then let me show you the two reds that I'm using, or oranges. There's a hot orange as my my base, and my mid-tone is this tangerine orange. You can see there's a good difference between them. So that's probably what I'm going to do for my hair. Anything else that comes up, I will probably just use this black gray. It's a really dark gray. Any other leather bits or like her belt or something that I want to make a different color than the other leather bits, I would just use this with a little bit of that off-white to mix my colors. I am going to use a palette today. Typically I use a wet palette, but because I'm going to be doing a little faster painting today, I'm just using a regular ceramic tile. This is a gloss finish. It peels off paint really fast. And I can mix quick on this, so that's why I'm using this. And I am, you know, like I said, using this Citadel holder. And I'm just using regular brushes for, you know, painting. Nothing crazy there. So, you know, of course, my enormous can of water and a paper towel for any spills. And if you get that messy, if you get that moment where, you know, if something's clogged, I have my handy dandy tool for unclogging things, the unbent paper clip. All right, so that's it, and we will get started here in just a second. Just some notes right quick on resin miniatures. As with all my miniatures, typically, I know this is gonna sound silly, but I give them a bath before we start. I did wash her with a mild detergent and a really soft toothbrush to get off any oils before I primed her. I did wash my hands really well because I don't want oils to come off my hands to be on the miniature itself. And, you know, I primed her with just a regular flat black, you know, a primer from Army Painter. That's typically what I use when I'm going to do, you know, a priming job. All right. One more important safety tip before I start layering paint on here is, of course, I was talking about, you know, washing the model. If you're using, if you're washing your models like I do, and like this model is resin, just be aware that, of course, resin models can melt if you get them too hot, or bend is a good word for it. So do be careful, you know, when you do resin models like that. Anyway, let's get started with skin. I tend to work from the skin out. There we go. Oh, that's good. And this is that bright skin shadow is what I'm starting with. All right. I like my paints to be a little thinner than a little thicker. And definitely, you know, only put paint on the very tip. So we're just gonna gently go over her face and arms, or neckline, trying to make that not blurry for you guys. I know it seems a little thin, but that's okay. I do like working out from the darkness, so that's why I tend to prime black. And I want to do skin first because if I paint over any of the other details, it's easier to, you know, go back and fix mistakes with skin. Easier than it is, and I know I'm trying to work out how to paint this where I can see it and let you see at the same time. It's a balancing act. All right, I'm gonna catch the edge of her ear here. There is a lock of hair right there that I'm sure I'll have to go back and pick out. Right now she looks like a melted doll, but it'll all come out here in the end. All right, start catching her arms. I always find it nice and relaxing to paint a figure on an afternoon or evening. painting somebody's elbow, you're not really worried about all that crazy stuff that's happening in the world. Kind of just get in your own little world in your head and think about the Greenbough Inn and how your next adventure is going to go great. As the rest of the group takes over and, you know, the paladin goes smashing through things. Not that paladins are bad. They have their own way. All right, I'm pretty happy with that elbow and arm. Catch this one. Now, lucky for us, we don't have to do legs too. Her dress covers up most of that, and she does have boots on. So we will, you know, catch the boots with that brown that I was thinking. Didn't have much in the way of mold lines, so that was good. It was pretty clean. No real blemishes that I needed to clear up or anything. This is a really reddish skin tone, but like I said, I thought it would go good for what I wanted to finish up with. Bit of a tricky part getting it in there inside the mug handle. I want to make sure I catch this top really well. All right, well, we will let this dry and go on to the next step. Just want to make sure we have a good even coat here. All right, well, anyway, that's what she looks like right now. That's step one with the skin. I'm gonna mix it with my color that I just did. I'm gonna mix these two together so that I get that in-between tone that I'm looking for. That looks like a good in-between tone right there. Things. Anyway, that's how she's looking right now. And we'll come back and do the next layer of skin in just a second. All right, so that's with the dried second layer of skin. I hope you can see that really well. Don't want it to be too far away from you. Anyway, I'm gonna go on. Now, as you can remember, I mixed to get this tone, and this should be the rosy skin unfettered with the mid. I feel pretty good about that. Starting to look like tones of flesh. All right, awesome. All right, so this is where we're at. And I'm gonna do just a little bit of a flush wash. All right, so that is with a little bit of a flush wash. I know it doesn't look like much, but it will when I'm finished. All right, I just caught her hands, her face, her neckline, and then her fingers. This is what I'm working on. All right, be right back. Okay, so this is with the flush wash dry. And I'm gonna do the next layer of skin tone on her. You can really see that flesh wash helped out tremendously on that hand. It really looks like a hand. You can see her fingers there on the mug. And you're getting way more detail there with her thumb over the mug. And of course her neckline and facial features are really starting to come out a little bit better, which is awesome. Okay, so the next one is this rosy highlight. Shake it up, declog it. And I'm gonna put a little bit out here on the palette. And I'll probably mix it slightly. I'm just gonna hold this up a little bit closer to get a mixture kind of in between those two to do what I need to do with her skin next. All right. That's a good mix in between. Okay, darker background. Okay, so I'm somewhat finished with the skin. And I'm just kind of turning her slowly. I've done the base coat on the hair. And that's where I got to in stage 1 of painting Tess. We will be back tomorrow with stage 2 of painting Tess. We'll probably finish her hair and start on some of the details of the dress. See you then.